Wow, it's been a minute. Welcome back to the Force Report. My name is Ross. Guys, I'm sorry for the lack of content. There's just been nothing Star Wars related to talk about. But I just came across a huge Reddit post about the Massive Entertainment Star Wars game. So we're going to be diving into all of it. If you guys do enjoy this content, please be sure to smash that thumbs up button. Consider subscribing if you guys are new to the channel. And then just drop a like on the video if you guys, if you're excited for the Massive Entertainment Star Wars game. As always, let's get into it. So of course it came from the Gaming Leaks and Rumors Reddit from a user called Josephine Baker 21. And the beginning part that we're looking at right now, she's just kind of introducing herself and her source. It does say the source was someone she went on a date with who works for story groups with all things Star Wars and Disney. And then they just got to talking, and supposedly, once the intro started, he went through and told her about the pitch. So now, as you scroll past that, like I said, that's just the intro stuff. But as you scroll past it, we're going to get into the info. So this user said, so I'll relay what he told me. Bear in mind that I'm paraphrasing from memory information, that he too was paraphrasing from memory, and these conversations happened a while ago. So apologies if things seem disjointed. It's basically going to be bursts of earlier planning and pitch information that he heard from past judgment on. I'll also include some links to videos to provide context on what was being discussed. I've been told that at the points the team at Massive specifically showed some clips and images that reinforce their ideas, so I'll do so when they supposedly did. So it says the outline of the game. So basically they started with a super basic, simple description of what they wanted to achieve. It was something like this. Using the experience that we have gathered in recent releases, Division 1 and 2, we would like to create a wholly unique Star Wars experience that is unlike any other existing Star Wars title yet. The game we are proposing would combine tactical, co-op encouraged, cover-based shooting gameplay with the cinematic spectacle of the Star Wars universe. Taking further on what they want to accomplish, they described something along these lines. Keep in mind they were being purposely vague and story elements were yet to be ironed out and were heavily dependent on what the story group would suggest. They mainly discussed the type of game they wanted to make. We want to take a lot of what made the Division special and merge it with the Star Wars universe. We want to keep the same things like character creation, armor and weapons looting, and collecting, co-op PvE focus. We imagine the nature of the story to revolve around characters who are part of a mercenary type guild during the Galactic War. We are heavily inspired by the Mandalorian Coven in Season 1 of The Mandalorian. As a team, we talked about the setup. It felt like a video game more than a show, referring to the armorer who helps the main character upgrade their weapons, and armor which they used to go on missions, so work to further increase their arms and armor. They discussed the idea of revolving around a Mandalorian coven, but they said they were leaning more the idea of a mercenary group because it would allow players more freedom to create their own Star Wars character rather than being forced to be a Mandalorian. They can collect their own armor sets and forge unique aesthetics. Some players might look like the Cloud Riders, some might look like the Rebel Pathfinders, some might look like Saw's Partisans, etc. And of course, some might do the Cobb Vanth thing and don some Mando armor. Apparently the story team were approving of this, and actually they would be steered away from something Mando focused so as not to detract from the Mando and Boba series. The team, when talking about their ideas between armor and appearance-based loot, that like the Division, they would have social safe zones where players can see and run into other players. They envisioned these as being cantinas, and that with the possible player variations that stepping into one would really take on the feel of like walking into Maz Katanas or another of the cantinas within the films with just huge varieties of people. They said that they envisioned the game to take place over a number of worlds. They did also discuss the idea of just focusing on one much larger world, but ultimately they understand the Star Wars fans have come to expect variation in the content, e.g. Fallen Order with Zepho, Bogana, etc. They showed us clips of the Battle of Jeddah from Rogue One, the Battle of Mimban from the Solo, and the ambush of the Cloud Riders against the Crimson Dawn from Solo. After showing these clips, they explained that these were the sort of moments they want to recreate throughout their game. They don't want to tell stories of the universe-changing moments like Luke blowing up the Death Star, but rather focus on everyday heroics of military personnel with their universe. They referenced the early season of Rebels where the group would simply steal food to help people, etc., and that was enough of a victory. They said that they envisioned the world as being unstable Imperial-controlled worlds. Some might have active front lines where the gameplay looks more like the Battle of Mimbain. Some might have rebel cells that will randomly attack Imperial checkpoints like in Jedi in Rogue One. Some also might have wearing criminal factions like in the end of Solo. Worlds and story details. They apparently didn't have any concrete worlds they wanted their story to focus on, as they wanted input from the story team. They said they wanted a range, so like a classic Star Wars desert planet like Tatooine, preferably a city-style planet. They said something like Megito or Casilia. They said they wanted planets that feel lived in, like you're really there to help the local populace. They also said that unlike with their previous titles, they want to bring in vehicles in some way, so having ATSTs, speeder bikes, and all sorts. Ideas they were steered away from. When discussing the ideas they had for the game, they also discussed the things they weren't considering seriously but wanted to go over because things can change throughout the development, and they wanted to know what could and couldn't be on the cards. They suggested the idea of maybe having classes for players, and that perhaps they could have a class that is a Jedi or at least a lightsaber wielder. The story team apparently completely steered away from any ideas like that. They were keen on the soldier mercenary style of things, and they don't want to add any more Jedi Force users into the universe. When they already have Ezra, Kanan, Obi-Wan, Ahsoka, Luke, and more kicking about around the time frames they are looking at. So conclusions and parting notes. For the record, I didn't vet this guy or speak proof that he works this role throughout. Though it would be a really elaborate and weird lie, he specifically said that he works with game developers before, and it's not uncommon for the final product to be completely different from the initial pitch based on how things unfold during development. So don't take any of this as a gospel of what to expect. Apparently the team are super excited, passionate, and knowledgeable. These things were supposed to be fairly formal, but ended up turning into nerdy conversations where they brainstormed and excitedly discussed what the game could be. So by the sound of things, no matter what they end up doing, it'll look good. He did throw in his opinion that the game will be a long time coming. He said he reckons like 2024. Though that was purely his opinion, not based on anything their team said, he's a dev, so doesn't really have the expertise to comment, so take away what you will. And then I just want to say, take away what you can. So obviously, guys, as we read that, take it with a grain of salt. That's just a huge patch of information that this user from Reddit pulled from a possible developer on the game. One thing I did notice is that it will be taking place in a time period where Ezra, Kanan, Obi-Wan, and Ahsoka and Luke are kind of in that same time period in the universe. So take that what you will. I am pretty excited just to read this, guys. It's been, like I said, really hard pulling some news, and just to wake up and see this today and get to report on it has been awesome. I really, guys, want to just thank you all for bearing with us on the channel here and sticking around and supporting us. As always, guys, if you guys enjoyed the video, please be sure to smash that thumbs up button. It does help the channel grow. If you guys are new here and enjoy the content, consider subscribing and just turn on that notification bell so you guys never miss an upload. And hopefully we get some more news in the coming days. This has been pretty awesome so far. So, as always, my name is Ross, and this was an episode of The Force Report.